Exercise 22.3. A number is 3 more than another number, and the product of these two numbers is 40. Let one number be x. A number is 3 more than another number. So, second number, it can be x plus 3. So that the difference between these two numbers is 3, or one of the numbers is 3 more or 3 extra than the previous number. Then it is given that product of these two numbers is 40. So we can write it down like x times x plus 3 is 40. Now we can simplify it using the multiplication. X is to be multiplied with both of them, and bringing this 40 to that side. Now this is a quadratic equation, and we can simplify it using any of the methods to solve quadratic equations, whether we use quadratic formula, or we can factorize it, or we can apply the completing the square method. So simplifying it using the factorization method, the method is that we are going to see that the coefficient of x square is 1. That 1 is to be multiplied by the constant term, which is 40. Like these two are to be multiplied, and we get 40, and we need to have its factors. The factors of 40, it these might be taken out by the prime factorization method, or we can have 40 can be written as 1 times 40, or 2 times 20, or 4 times 8. 4 tens are, sorry, 4 tens are 40, and 5 eights are 40. Out of all these possible factors, this pair 5 and 8 is a pair whose difference or sum would be equal to the middle term, that is 3x. So we take this pair and we write down the first term as it is, the last term, which is a constant term, that has been written or copied down as it is. So this 3x is to be broken down into these two terms, negative 5x plus 8x, because of these factors 5 and 8. Whenever we take these factors, we need to see that the larger of the two numbers has to have the sign that the middle term has got. If middle term has got plus, so that's why we have put plus with the larger factor. Okay, now we now need to make their pairs. So the pairs are going to be x taken common from these two terms. We are left with x from the first and 5 from the second term. Similarly, we need to take common from these two. 8 taken common, and 8 fives are 40. Now x minus 5 is a common factor in these two terms, and from the first term we are left with x, and from the second term we are left with plus 8 equals to 0. So now we will put both of these factors equal to 0, one after the other. X minus 5 equals to 0, that will give us x equals to 5, and this will give us x is equal to negative 8. Now if one of the numbers is x, that is 5, then the other number in that case is going to be 5 plus 3 equals to 8. And if the other number uh, chosen is this negative 8. If x is negative 8, then the other number is x plus 3. That is negative 8 plus 3, that is negative 5. So either the numbers are 5 and 8, or the numbers are negative 5 and negative 8. So these are the two possibilities of the two required numbers which fulfill the given conditions. So this is how this question number 1 was to be done. Now it's question number 2. A ball starts to roll down a slope if the ball is d meters from its starting point at time t seconds and d equals to t squared plus 3t. Find the time when the ball is 10 meters from its starting point. So the distance in this case is given to be 10. So we need to solve it replacing the at d the value that is 10 meters. So 10 equals to t square plus 3t. T square plus 3t minus 10 equals to 0. So t squared, and then again I'm applying the previous method done in the first question. 1 is to be multiplied with the constant term negative 10. The answer is negative 10, and now we need to have the factors of 10, which are 2 and 5. So out of those two factors, since the middle term has got positive sign, so the larger of these two has to have that sign. So let me write down negative 2t, then plus 5t, and then minus 10 equals to 0. Now I can make the pairs. What is common from these two terms? That is t, and I'm left with t from this term and then minus 2 from this term. And taking common from these two terms, we are having 5 as a common factor, and we are left with this t minus 10 is obviously 2 times 5, so 5 has already been taken common, and the bracket we are left with this 2, and all of this is equal to 0. Then we have got t minus 2 as a common factor from these two terms. From the first term I'm left with this t, and from the second term I'm left with this 5. So again the product of these two factors is 0. That means either t is equal to 0 or t plus 5 equals to 0. This will give us t is equal to 2 or t is equal to negative 5. And since it was given that t is the time given in seconds, so both of these have to be in seconds. But we can see that time is having a value negative 5s, and that is not possible practically speaking. So we ignore this value. So finally, in this case, the time has got only one value, and that is equal to 2 seconds. So that is the time when the ball is 10 meters from its starting point after 2 seconds from the time of its start. So that is how this question number 2 had to be done. Now question number 3, the nth term of the sequence 1, 3, 6, 10, 15, and so on is n plus 1 divided by 2, where n is the position of each term in the sequence. Use algebra to find the position of the number 78. Since this formula is for a number of the position n plus 1 whole divided by 2, and that has to be equal to 78. So n square plus n is equal to, shifting this 2 to that side, that is 156, and now bringing this to this side. Now again I need to apply the same procedure of factorization. So 1 is to be multiplied with negative 156. So we need to have the factors of 156. Two sevens are, and then two eights are, two threes are, two nines are, then three 13s are, and then 13 ones are. I need to have one n. That is 3 twos are 6 and 6 twos are 12. 12 and 13 are the required factors. So I can have n square negative 12n plus 13n minus 156 equals to 0. So taking n common, n minus 12 plus 13 taken common, this is n minus 12 equals to 0, because this 156 is obviously 13 times 12. So 13 taken common here, so we are left with 12 from this 156. Now we can see that n minus 12 is occurring in both of these terms, so we can take it common. Then we are left with this n plus 13. So now their product is equal to 0. So either n minus 12 equals to 0 or n plus 13 equals to 0. That will give us n12 or n is equal to negative 13. Now, what was n? It was the position number, and position of any term in the sequence, it cannot be a negative quantity. So we neglect or ignore the negative value of n. So finally we get that n equals to 12. That is the required answer. So the position of number 78 would be the 12th position. This is it. So this was question number 3. It's question number 4 now. The sum of two integers is 11. It is the sum and then two integers. These are the two integers. So now in this case, I suppose let the integers be x and y. Then according to the condition, their sum is 11 and the product of the same two numbers, integers, is 28. So the product of x and y, that is equal to 28. Now this question has to be done using the substitution method of simultaneous linear equations. From here, I can have the value of y, that is 28 divided by x. I can either have the value of x from this equation as well. So now I need to substitute this value of y into this equation. So that will give me x plus y equals to 11. X plus, at the place of y, I'm going to replace this value now. 28 divided by x is equal to 11. Now we need to add the fractions, and we know that for that I need to have the common denominator. So I'm going to multiply this first fraction by x in the numerator as well as in the denominator. So x is there in the LCM. In the numerator, this is x squared, and then plus 28 is equal to 11. So x squared, shifting this to this side. So this is the quadratic equation now. We need to solve it. Mm. Now I need to have the factors of 28. The factors of 28 are 2 and 14, then 7 and 4. So I'm going to have the pairs to be x square minus 4x and then minus 7x plus 28 equals to 0. Now making this a single pair, I have x minus 4 and this as the other pair. I can take 7 common and then I'm left with x minus 4 equals to 0. Why I put a negative sign over here? Because there was the negative sign outside the bracket, that's why. So the sign inside the bracket got changed. So we can have x minus 4 as the common factor and then x being left from here and 7 from here. So x minus 4 times x minus 7, that will give me either x is equal to 4 or x is equal to 7. So we have proved that both of these integers are 4 and 7. So that was question number 4. Then it is question number 5. The base of a triangle is 2 centimeters longer than its perpendicular height. Let it be something like this. If this is height and this is the base, so its base has been given as a comparison of its height. So we would say let height to be h centimeters, and so base, that will be equal to 2 plus h, because it is given the question that the base is 2 centimeters longer than its perpendicular height. Now if the area of the triangle is 24 centimeter squares, find the height of the triangle. So we will use the formula for area of triangle, that is half times base times height, 1 by 2 times base. This is its base, 2 plus h times the height is h. So we can see, and its area is given to be 24. Now I'm shifting this 2 to that side. It will get multiplied with this 24, and from the right side I'm having this thing 2 times h, this is 2h, plus h times h, that is h square. So the equation is going to be h square plus 2h minus 48 equals to 0. Now it is a quadratic equation, and we can try to simplify it using the factorization method. The factors of 48 are except 1. I start off from 2 and 24, then 3 and 16, 4 and 12, 6 and 8. They have got a difference of 2. So the required factors in this case would be h square minus 6h plus 8h minus 48 is equal to 0. So now we can take this h common from the first two terms. I'm left with h minus 6. Then 8 common here. This is h minus 6 equals to 0. So h minus 6 and h minus 8 equals to 0. So that is h minus 6 is equal to 0, or h minus 8 equals to 0. That will give me h is equal to 6, or h is equal to negative 8. Since h was the height which cannot be negative, so this is not possible. So we ignore it. So finally the value of the height of the triangle is 6 centimeters. So this was question number 5.